At this point, I'm going to introduce our third speaker of the day, and he is John Morse. John is on the pathway for effective coaching and the research and presentation phase. Introduction. It was Bab himself, William Shakespeare, who penned the words of Lady Macbeth. Out, out, damned spot, as she tried to wash the invisible blood from her hands to absolve herself of all her misdeeds. Tonight's next speaker will once again address the misspoken words of Carolwood Toastmasters in a speech entitled Out, Out, Damned Badjective. Please help me welcome, with all the enthusiasm you can muster, distinguished Toastmaster, John Morse.
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster, it was Lady Macbeth who uttered those immortal words, out, out, damn spot, in order to absolve herself of guilt after having talked her husband into knocking off Duncan, the King of Scotland. I have for years now, and I'm sure that Wesley knows this because he repeats it just about every third or fourth meeting, suggested to you that there is an issue with respect to some of the words that we use. We're not in Toastmasters to deliver the Gettysburg Address or to deliver the I Had a Dream speech. We're not in Toastmasters to deliver John Kennedy's first inaugural address. After all, no one gets paid for giving a 5 to 7 minute speech. What we're here for, what we're here in Toastmasters for, is to become better. By that I mean we hope to become more skilled in the art of presentation week after week after week. This spring, I found an ally. Where did I find him? In, of all places, here it is, Toastmasters Magazine. Look at that, it looks backwards to me. Anyway, Toastmasters Magazine in the April edition, which was the last printed edition of Toastmasters Magazine, published an article written and penned by Joel Schwartzberg, Make Your Compliments Count. And in that article, he discusses 4 ways that people use to compliment, and from the perspective of Toastmasters, to give positive feedback. He mentions those 4 ways. The least, he says, most effective way is to use adjectives. What are the adjectives he uses? Great. He uses awesome. He uses very good. And he, not me, he coined the expression badjectives. What do we mean by these words when we say someone is a great member? Jim Sims is a great member. Compared to Don Prue, is he a great member? Compared to Wesley Sherwood, is he a great member? Compared to Brenda Alaco, is he a great member? We don't know. It was a great meeting. Wasn't last week a great meeting? Wasn't the week before that a great meeting? We've had great meetings ever since we started Zooming, in my opinion. They're all great. What does the word great mean anyway? So we have to begin to use words other than great, very good, and awesome. Now, Joel Schwartzberg talks about other ways that you can use these sort of phrases or elevate your use of language. Number 2 way is to use the generic statement. Not that much better than great, but pretend for a moment that you're at a wedding and the groom is toasted and the person says he's a devoted and wonderful lover. Well, can you imagine every guy in the room says, he's talking about me. it doesn't mean and doesn't add anything to the person who he, in fact, means to toast. The third way that he talks about is to use examples. For example, you might say that the speaker had lots of notes and didn't need any of them. A little bit better, isn't it? A little bit better to use the example from the speaker himself. That way, you're personalizing and you're saying something that will add to that speaker's impression of his own speech. The fourth way that he talks about, which is really the best way, is to use a story. And Anjan Kasi in this spring's division speech contest told about the 250-mile separation between his wife and his daughter and himself when he lived in Miami. They lived here. And he said he looked down and he dropped a dollar bill on the floor. And his daughter said to him, "What is money?" And you know, it came to him, money comes and goes, but family lasts forever. It was a poignant moment in a wonderfully crafted speech. The story tells it all. Now, you can apply the switch test to what it is that you say about another person's speech. The switch test is this. If you use a word to describe someone's speech that you could use about anybody who spoke, then probably you need to dig a little bit deeper. Probably you need to find some other way to make an impact in regard to that presentation or that part of your evaluation or that part of the way that you expect to compliment another speaker. What's the end result? To me, I say to you, remember Lady Macbeth. Remember, out, out, damned Badjectives. You'll help yourself and you'll help others at Carolwood Toastmasters. Mr. Toastmaster.